Hey guys, I just wanted to do a quick overview of the different parts and what to really expect inside this course for rendering mechs inside of Photoshop. So we'll be covering just the different kind of assets and things we're going to need to know and what we're going to be covering inside this course. First thing we're going to talk about is just the different brushes and tools that we should familiarize ourselves with. So I'll go over really briefly just the different brushes that I use and some of the different tool settings that I like to set up to be able to kind of accomplish the different things that we're going to need inside of the tutorial. The next thing we're going to cover is just creating our thumbnails. So this is just getting our ideas down and playing with some different shapes in a silhouette form. So this is really where we get to explore and kind of just decide what kind of mech we really want to build. After we kind of get some initial shapes laid down, we're going to pick 2 or 3 and then we'll go through and we'll actually just start kind of refining them. So we'll find what shapes are kind of working and take it to the next level where we start kind of taking the silhouette and finding what's working and what's not working. At this point now what we're going to do is we're going to just start actually picking one mech and refining the chest and head. So the mech you see to the side, we're just going to start taking a look and seeing what shapes we can pull out and actually start to render and paint the actual mech itself. After we get those kind of based in, what we'll do is we'll figure out how to kind of make the arm. So we'll cover just the different painting techniques and how I got the different shapes for the arm and the hand and just what we should expect when manipulating different things, especially when we use some photos to kind of get us a baseline. After that, we're going to get into rendering the lower torso. So kind of figuring out the hip region and how we can kind of get it to fit to where we're going to end up eventually having our legs attached to. And finding just interesting shapes and how we can play with lighting and different aspects of the lower torso region. After that, we're going to start working on the upper leg. So how does that attach back into the hip? And what are just some interesting shapes and kind of different elements we can pull to kind of define that upper leg and make it look really kind of pull your attention and feel pretty interesting. We'll continue by going on to the lower leg after that. So just trying to see how we can make a really cool and interesting joint, and a little bit about refining the knee and also just the feet in general, making it feel kind of fun and a little bit different. After that, we'll follow it up with rendering out the lights on top of his shoulders, just trying to figure out what those look like and what different kind of elements we can play with and how we can actually get those to kind of feel like they're illuminated a little bit as well. In section 11 is when we'll start to actually add some of the shadow, highlight information, and color. So we're going to just start to define that. Up to that point, we'll really have been working in grayscale, so it's really important to be able to kind of add that color and that final pop of information a little later in the pipeline so we have more control over it. In section 12, what we're going to start to do is adding some more detail and contrast. So we're starting to get down to the nitty-gritty, adding in some little bit of just debris and some extra panel lines, really things that'll help kind of sell it and give us that fine level of detail that really helps sell concepts. Section 13, what we're finally going to do is just do a really fast last-minute cleanup. So we're going to take care of any little kind of hanging pieces or little lines that could just kind of make it not feel so finished. So we're just going to refine it, and we'll talk a little bit more about just cleaning up our pieces and presenting them in a more professional way. So in the last section, we're just going to do a conclusion, and we'll just do a really quick kind of recap of all the skills and all the techniques that we used, and talk a little bit about how we can kind of apply the different techniques we learned to different projects and be able to kind of express the techniques and different lessons that we learned inside of here to just advance ourselves and be more comfortable rendering something that's a little more hard surface. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get to it.